Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you another Injustice 2 video. And in this video, we finally get 1,000 gems in a arena scene, and this is the snapshot that I got at 11:58, as I was at 1,053,000 battle rate, and you can see right here, 1,039,000 was the cutoff for top 50. And as you can see right there, we get the 1,000 gems. We're going to go into Injustice 2 right now, and you guys can see in live what's going on. Alright, so as you can see, the arena season has ended. These are 1,000 gems I get for free for placing in the top 50 in arena. So what is 1,000 gems worth to a normal player? If you were to buy gems, 1,000 gems is almost $20. Let's say about $16, $15 for free every week if you place in the top 50. And I'd also like to point out that I did get a copy of Injustice 2 for PS4, and we will be doing a live stream on that later tonight. Until the live stream actually goes, go check out the Hacking Freak. He's streaming right now. But if you're watching this video in the future, he probably isn't. So let's go into the arena. And you can see there's people already farming. LQ Persona is obviously at it, and yeah. One thing to point out as well is that your arena pips refresh at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. So any characters that you use to push into the top 50 will not be usable or any ranking until 8 p.m. Very important information that if you're doing arena, you have to wait 12 hours to do it. Now this is a lot better than the 24 hours in previous launches, but one thing to note is that when you have 30 plus characters, and I'm not even joking, it takes you over 2 hours to cycle every character. And if you were to use these guys in single battles, you could probably play the game all day long. But the difference between single battles and three-player battles is quite a bit, especially once you're over 20,000 threat. The wrong team will just annihilate you. But there are single guys that can obviously do better than groups. But once your guys are like in the 40s and 50s, it's pretty strong. So a couple tips for arena. As you can see by my team right here, I like to use teams that have 3 different classes. Obviously, if you're using Green Lantern or Dr. Fate, you will obviously not have a class advantage. So, the way that this works, and we're going to point this out by the top 4 classes right here, not counting Superman, so let's throw him in the roster as well. Let's throw Scarecrow in the roster as well. Alright, so we have Agility, Might, Tech, and Metahuman. So, Tech counters Might. You do 20% more damage than Might. You take 10% less damage. This is huge when you're dealing with super moves. A full health character can usually take a super move when you have a class advantage. So Might counters Agility. Star and Sky, you really should learn this one because Might counters the Agility guys in your Speed Force the Flash challenge. And Metahuman counters Tech. So when you're seeing all those marksman dead shots, having a Metahuman like the Flash or Horrific Scarecrow on your team is really good. And also, Agility counters Metahuman. So, Agility characters will do more damage and take less from Metahuman. And trust me, there are a lot of Horrific Scarecrows at the high levels because it is a really powerful card. Now, hopefully, one day in the arena, they will have defensive victories. It's not actually easy to win defensively because you could be fighting people that have 10 to 20,000 threat more. If you're running Green Lantern or Horrific Scarecrow or Dr. Fate, you should have no problem beating higher people. You should also have no problems beating higher people if you're using said technique where you're using 3 classes down below. Now, there are obviously a couple wild cards. For example, Scarecrow at 4 stars. Opposing team abilities cost 2 more power. This is really huge because if a special 1 costs 5 power instead of 3, that just makes it 40% harder to get combos off, and it really encourages tagging out. Now, Superman will also give team defense. Team defense also reduces your damage by a percentage. Obviously, Armored Superman has a stronger passive with that, as it's 15% defense at 3 stars and 25% defense at 5 stars. So you're going to be taking less damage. Obviously, gear and talents will influence that as well. So a couple other things to point out is I really haven't found a good use for fast attack chance. I don't even know what it does. And another wild card is Cyborg. At 5 stars, he has 2% health regen while tagged out. Think of it like the WrestleMania gear in WWE Immortals and how annoying that gear was before other gear like the DX Invasion Truck and Backlash came into play, and the Night of Champions gear, and that gear just became obsolete. Well, Cyborg is really powerful in a sense that it basically gives you an extra card. It could even give you more value than an extra card if you're running some defensive cards like Green Lantern and Superman. Now, speaking of Green Lantern, Emerald Green Lantern does have one of the best passives in the game, and it does warrant the Magic class because it is really strong. So on tag-in, you have a chance to get 100% crit damage on your next attack. Usually it's like a tag-in, so the tag-in hit or whatever special you do. You also have a 3-second stun. The 3-second stun is really powerful because it will allow you to get 2 combos off on the opponent and then unleash a special which has 0% chance to be unblocked unless you're using something that can be triggered by Super Block. And you also have a chance to gain 3 bars of power on tag-in. And this is really strong. So cycling tags with Emerald Green Lantern is amazing. So a couple other notable characters. Telekinetic Gorilla Grodd has a chance to stop them and deal 200% damage. This is a 10% modifier. So you can get up to 50% to my knowledge. If it's a 5% modifier, then it's 40%. I can't remember what it was because it's been a while since I upgraded the card. But if this connects the telekinesis, it's really powerful. And then it also allows you to set up for some gross combinations. So it's not something to overlook for sure. And also, Predator Batman is another wild card. Because on tag-in, he can do up to 15% damage. So that's a really powerful modifier because if you're dealing with high threat, high health targets, Predator Batman can just chew them up instantly. So obviously if you have Predator Batman on your team, it's really good. And also Scarecrow at 5 stars has a 75% chance to pull an enemy in. When you pull an enemy in, it forces them back in, and at 5 stars it stuns them for 3 seconds. I believe it's a 1-second stun at 1 star, so the difference between a 1 and a 3-second stun is huge. So I think Scarecrow is actually one of those underrated cards. I actually think he got a huge buff in 1.3. So Unhinged Harley Quinn is also pretty good because the opponent can get their card stolen. You can try to also manipulate super moves by killing somebody and then using the cloned opponent to steal the effect. Keep in mind there are a couple of interactions that work with this. If you knock out the Joker with Unhinged Harley Quinn, your cloned copy will be stunned. You can now use super moves as of patch 1.3. You could not do this in patch 1.2. And all passes are disabled, meaning that if you have somebody knocked out on your team, Warrior Queen Wonder Woman is not going to spawn a cloned character from that as well. So, Unhinged Harley Quinn can generate some free value, and that's pretty cool. Now, speaking of the Joker, at 5 stars you have a 9-second stun and 3 bars of power. This is a really powerful ability. You can do a lot of damage to somebody in 9 seconds. Trust me on that. Especially if you have a big power meter. You can combo into about a 15-20 hit combo, then use your special 3, and you basically eliminate somebody. It's really powerful, kind of like the Killing Joke Joker's special 3, or the passive dying damage. Think of it kind of like that. It's on a different power level, but it kind of works like that, except the stun, in my opinion, is better. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how BVS Superman really works because Batman really doesn't do much except buff the damage. Obviously, with Predator Batman, you don't need a passive to complement him. Wonder Woman Prime also gives a damage boost and health, so that could be really interesting. I haven't leveled up the card enough to test him out at high-level gameplay, but I have been throwing him in operations for that. So, Dr. Fate also has a game-breaking passive at 4 stars. The opponent requires 2 less power when you use it. So your Glyph of Anubis, obviously it was like a 2 or 3 second internal cooldown, so you can't spam it. It'll cost 1. The Nabu's Curse will cost 2, and Binding Fate will cost 5. So it really makes Horrific Scarecrow really powerful on a defensive team because it's still going to cost the base amount, and it'll cost more if he only has 1 bar of power. Now, another ability that I think is pretty strong is the Green Barrier Team Absorption, 25% health. If you guys know from DC Legends, a lot of people use Green Lantern in the starting slot. 25% health, that kind of acts like defense from Superman, where he just ignores everything you can combo in it, is pretty good. Now, Bane does also have a really good passive. At 5 stars, 30% team critical attack chance. If you combine this with Batman, you could probably just put crit damage on all of his talents and his gear. you don't even need crit chance. It's that good. Obviously, crit resistance might offset that, but you also have some synergy with Prime Harley Quinn, as she does gain more damage from all kinds of attacks as well, so keep that in mind as well. Unbreakable Cyborg and Primal Swamp Thing have revive abilities, so it does give you protection against not getting 3 stars in campaign if you kind of use them as a dummy to take super moves. It's kind of hard to predict that, but it's pretty good there. So Suicide Squad Harley Quinn gains attack from the Joker, crit chance from Deadshot, and power regen if you're using another Harley Quinn. And yes, a Harley Quinn team is viable. You have Unhinged Harley Quinn to steal opponents. You have Prime Harley Quinn Silver to actually give more damage to your team. So yeah, you could actually make that work. Obviously, gaining attack from the Joker, 20% attack from the Joker is really good. 30% attack at 5 stars. It's a really good ability. Blade Master Robin, you see this guy in multiplayer a lot just because Robin is a badass. But his combo is also really good. You're always guaranteed at least 25% extra damage. And if you have him 5 stars, 35% extra damage. This is really huge when you're coming in and doing a super move off the tag from nothing. You can also get a couple hits and get a 60% damage combo basically off one combo. It's really good. Now, obviously, I don't have the goal to actually upgrade some specials, but yeah, the Blade Master Robin is definitely in a lot of teams. And Marksman Deadshot for the same reason that he's just a cool card. Like, Prime Deadshot, not so much, but Deadshot definitely does some damage. And Lethal Attack Chance is a modifier for Marksman Deadshot. Lethal Attack basically gives you another modifier, a crit. So, like, say you have 100% crit chance and you hit for 1,000 damage normally. Your crit chance is going to hit for 1,620 damage, and then your lethal damage will hit for another 125% on top of that. So you're going to hit for like 1,900 to 2,000, and obviously if you crit, that's going to go up even more. So obviously with a 1% lethal chance, it's not going to do much, but you could have gear that also benefits from that. So one card that is really interesting is Green Arrow, because if you crit, keep in mind Bane is really good with Black Canary in that regard because you're going to gain a lot of crit chance. So it's area damage, kind of like Prime Flash's Special 1, which for some reason does area damage as well. And Black Canary also gives teammates fast attack chance. So if you're running Black Canary, you're going to get double synergy from Green Arrow. Green Arrow is also a card that has power drain. Keep in mind the power drain is not the same as the tooltip. You're actually going to drain more power than this. And it takes 30 levels to upgrade it to 3 bars. So at 60, it's 4 bars. So you're actually going to power drain more power than this ability. And it also has synergy with Dr. Fate because you can get it down to 2 bars. And I really think that Dr. Fate and Green Arrow, along with Emerald Green Lantern, or with Horrific Scarecrow, is an amazing setup team. You don't even need Black Canary setup. I really just think you need Green Arrow to stop power. And speaking of Black Canary, you also have Fast Strikes, where you have more fast attack damage. Now, I'm still kind of confused on how fast attack work. I really wish they had a tutorial for all this stuff. And I really hope NetherRealm puts in kind of a tutorial within the game to kind of show off mechanics like lethal damage and fast attacks that are not explained. And also, there's going to be probably gear that generates power. We'll have to see how that plays out, but they do have a tooltip for that. So I expect there to be gear that is not related to the classes that can be thrown on your characters, and I really look forward to that. But Green Arrow teammates' critical attack chance is pretty powerful. Obviously, combined with Green Arrow, you're going to be able to get some area damage on the team. But with Green Arrow, you obviously do want the critical chance for area damage, but there are some synergistic cards that might work better than critical attack chance. Like I talked about, Horrific Scarecrow making power moves a little bit harder to use, Dr. Fate making your power moves easier, and Emerald Green Lantern. And I really love seeing these utility type cards. I really hope that they put more into the game. So if you like this video talking about HollywoodShono getting his first 1,000 gem season in Arena, as well as showing off some good Arena tips and tricks for teams, please give this video a like rating, comment, subscribe, share this video amongst your friends, and as a favorite, check out my other Injustice 2 videos playlist, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, which are all HollywoodShono, and also hit the notification bell to see when I'm live streaming on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, kids.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe, bitches!